this is the third battle between the Duke of Duck, Aggony Duck, and Noobez. This time another great matchup, and I keep saying that these games in Charlemagne are great matchups, but that's because I really think they are. They are interesting. Might be because I haven't grown as tired of the factions as I have in Total War Attila, but the factions do offer some. The factions, although the variations between the factions are slight, they are pronounced, and it means you have to use the factions differently. It's not like in Total War Attila where you just have to send in your shock cav and support with good infantry, then you win. It's a bit more complicated, and you usually see that in the game length and in how the game plays out. So this particular matchup, Westphalia versus the Kingdom of Charlemagne itself. So just to go over the Kingdom of Charlemagne's army first. 2 units of skirmish cav on the flanks, decent units. In the center we have standard archers, and everything is decent from the Kingdom of Charlemagne. The Frankish cavalry, very good, cost effective, heavy. Then we have the swordsmen, a bit fragile. And we have armored swordsmen again, and then we have the Frankish cav and the swordsmen. So with the Kingdom of Charlemagne you get cost effectiveness in almost every single category. But you don't get units that are just, aside from the Frankish cavalry, you don't get units that are decidedly better than their counterparts. Now, with Westphalia, spear band, axe warriors, scout cavalry, the scout cavalry only has 2 ammo, same with the Saxon cav, but they do have a spear and melee. Sax warriors, noble javelin men. Sax warriors, the noble javelin men are kind of special because look at their charge, charge bonus, and look at their melee damage. They have a very high charge bonus and a very low melee damage, kind of a special unit. So they can do some damage on the charge, but primarily they will be used, I guess, to kill cavalry and then to support fights. Axe warriors, and spear band. So with the Saxons, you get something unique. You get no melee cavalry, no dedicated melee cavalry, but you get very good multi-purpose cavalry. So these guys, if they're able to throw their precursors in and then join a fight, they can do some damage to cavalry units. But with their 2 ammo, they need to use that ammo really, really well. And with the Saxons, you also get a lot of cheap, good on the charge infantry units. 37 for the charge, 37 for the axe warriors here, 25 for the spear band. But they are super, super fragile. And here we're seeing some skirmish. The skirmish cav has less damage, but has more. They are faster than the Saxon cav. They also have more ammunition, so they can afford to bait exactly what Noobez is doing here. They can afford to bait some volleys if they manage to get some damage done to the Saxon cav. But that 90 damage really hurts them. Here you can see 10 kills, 1 kill on that unit. So 10 kills from half the volleys. From half the ammunition of this Saxon cav. And it could be a good idea to use it on the skirmish cav. However, these Frankish cav are very, very dangerous against the low armor Saxons. They will do a lot of damage to axe warriors on the charge. And you can see how Duck is creating sections of his army that are well protected against cavalry. Any melee cav that rushes in here is going to get hammered. There's a spear unit and there are 2 axe units. And the same thing over here, you can't just charge in here with cavalry and expect it to end well against a shower of 90 missile damage javelins. That's not going to be easy. So each of these sections of Duck's army that's starting to surround the hill here have decent support. Now Noobez is in a very good position because he is on the top of a hill, he has skirmishers, and if he's able to position himself on the hill in shield wall, it will make his sword units extremely hard to break. And with the Kingdom of Charlemagne, your offensive tools are in large part limited to Frankish cavalry or to armored swordsmen in shield wall, but you really don't have high charge infantry. And here we see the skirmish cav moved into range of the noble javelin men, and once again 1 volley kills, let's see, yeah, a few kills there, a few kills here, but takes a huge chunk out of the skirmish cav. The skirmish cav is very cheap, but you certainly don't want the skirmish cav to start dying without using any ammunition on a unit. But that's the problem with using skirmish cav against the Saxons. The Frankish skirmish cav is outmatched, and the Saxons can bring a lot of these cheap units. They can do what Duck is doing really well here, start surrounding with different army sections, but this is what they're not good at. This one archer unit is going to be a royal pain. It can rack up the kills against the Saxon cavalry really quickly because of their lack of armor. Only 10 armor, so using flaming ammo on these units is going to be devastating. Duck is going to go super aggressive here and try to push this unit back. The Frankish cavalry is moving out to respond, but it looks like the Saxon cavalry has committed, and this could work. Yeah, Duck is doing it now. This could work if he's using this unit to tie down multiple enemy units, and then send in the support really, really quickly before the shield walls start happening. So this Saxon cav was sacrificed. It's getting some kills here, but this is what it's all about, getting the other units in, and now it's starting the attack on both sides. The center is moving up as well. He's sacrificed another unit of scout cavalry without using its ammunition. But this is about speed. This is about overwhelming the flanks, getting the axe warriors into combat, while the cavalry, the Frankish cavalry, is engaged. And the armored swordsman did manage to move into shield wall, so that is unfortunate for Duck, good for Noobez. The axe warriors getting in here. The swordsmen are in shield wall, they are in a good position, but swordsmen have very little armor.
The enemy has discovered our hidden.
The Saxon cavalry gets hit by javelins from the skirmish cavalry, but there are just Saxon units everywhere. Being kept in support here are a unit of Sayax warriors and the Hearth Guard for some reason. Let's see if he's able to do it without his general. And the axemen will run through a unit of swordsmen, even though the swordsmen are in shield wall. The lack of armor really hurts the swordsmen. So the Saxons are breaking through. They are surrounding fairly well. This is how you engage. This is how you engage when a player is positioned on top of a hill. Moving in from all sides makes it hard to defend everywhere equally, but you do need superiority in some way to be able to do this. And the superiority in terms of the amount of melee units was there for Duck. But his cavalry is going to start struggling. It's going to start struggling. So this is the way. You either need to use all of the precursors, or you need to use the cavalry in a way that the way that Duck used them here. He ties down a lot of enemy units and then sends in the infantry. So whereas the cavalry isn't as cost effective as they could be, the infantry makes it worth it. But the Saxon cavalry here actually has gotten a lot of kills against the skirmishers, and they're not a bad unit, the Saxon cavalry. The skirmish cavalry hits the axe warriors. Axe warriors, not a very sturdy unit. But skirmish cav is very light, and this was in a forest. And you can see the Saxon cavalry is losing across the battlefield to the Frankish cav, as is expected. However, the Frankish infantry is taking a beating. The armored swords are holding relatively well. And these archers have ended up in the back lines of Westphalia, the Saxons. So the Saxon cav might make it in here. Yeah, they got the charge, they hit charge speed against this unit, and now they're going to move into the archers and finish them off. Very disorganized, very chaotic battle this. The noble javelin men are getting some kills, even though they have a very low melee damage. They can do some damage with their charge bonus. Getting some support from the Sayaxes here, and the armored swordsmen, they are not in shield wall now, so they are going to be in trouble. And now the Hearth Guard starts moving in, and the Hearth Guard, saving the Hearth Guard for the late game is a good idea. Saving it for when the skirmishers aren't around, saving it for when most of the cav units are engaged, means that the Hearth Guard can move in and destroy a lot of enemy infantry units. The Kingdom of Charlemagne doesn't have any infantry units able to stand up to the Hrothgar. They need to do it with cavalry and skirmishers. Now the Scout cavalry moving in here and attacking the Paladin Guardsmen in the flanks. This Scout cavalry has been used really well. The Paladin Guards are now losing decisively. This is looking very grim for the Kingdom of Charlemagne. And here the armored swordsmen outside of shield wall getting surrounded by multiple units of Sayaxes.
A unit is running from the enemy.
And they're off. Now the Paladin Guardsmen, the Brace General, Hrothgar with Brace, is going to make mincemeat out of the Paladin Guards. They cannot disengage, they're just going to die.
The enemy general is fallen.
He's dead, and that's it for the Kingdom of Charlemagne. So I said in the first video, I said this was a best of 3 because I thought it was, but apparently it's been a best of 5. Since Duck has won 3 battles here. Pyrrhic victory. Very nice Saxon army this. One that I really like. It has a bit of everything. It doesn't have that many foot skirmishers, but again, it makes sense against the Kingdom of Charlemagne. The Kingdom of Charlemagne brings 7 melee units and 5 melee cav, 4 skirmish cav, 4 skirmish units. For Westphalia, it makes sense to overwhelm with cheaper melee units and to have look at the kills on these units. Some of these Saxon cav, the ones that aren't sacrificed, do an extremely good job. 252 kills, 200 kills, and that's down to micromanagement. That's down to getting them in here and getting them into a position where they're able to rail charge. Some of the axe warriors do a very good job when they're able to break a unit quickly and then charge into another unit. The noble javelin man, one of them, does a decent job. The general was saved for later, but anytime you're able to win with basically just your army and not use your general, that's a good time, because having the general late game can be massive. And let's see here, he actually only had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 melee units, so the same amount. However, these spear band and the noble javelin man together with the Hrothgar means that the Westphalians had 5 more units to throw around, and making his different sections of the army sort of immune to cavalry by having noble javelins in one section, having scout cavalry, having Saxon cavalry in another section, was a beautiful counter to the cavalry superiority of the Kingdom of Charlemagne. So thanks to Aggony Duck for sending me these battles. Thanks to Noobez for the great games. Still haven't grown tired of Age of Charlemagne battles. The pace, the way the players win these battles, it's a pleasure to watch. So thanks. Strength and honor.